And it's time for Shark Talk. Boom, 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 boom. Hello again, YouTube. This is Dr.Kendo, and I'm here with a series that I'm going to try out called Chalk Talk. Or I don't know, maybe we'll think of a different name. But I'm here with Mrs.Kendo. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Mrs.Kendo.
And I'm also joined by two epic subscribers. I'm going to start off with my girl, Steph, who is known as Tamari773 on YouTube. Yes, please say something, anything.
Hi.
And we got my other good friend, Wally Win, otherwise Winborn W on YouTube.
What's up, guys?
All right, and so this is sort of just an open forum for us to talk about, I guess, certain nerdy topics or geek things or gamer things, whatever. And I thought, hey, what does this audience sort of have in common? Well, I know that, Tamari, for instance, she runs a channel that is about anime. And Wally Win, actually, I was doing his birthday rap with Mrs.Kendo earlier, and, he listed some animes that were, among his favorite television series. So I thought, I love to talk about Pokemon, DBZ, all that stuff. Why not talk about it? But first, let's actually hear from Steph, I think, first, because Steph recently was one of the lucky people who got to go to Comic-Con in New York.
I did.
Yeah. So you got to play the Wii U for one.
I did.
That is like a whole commentary in itself, probably.
Yeah.
But do you have any summary or just anything about it that you want to say? Or just one word?
About the Wii U or about the Comic-Con?
Yeah, about the Wii U, sorry, yeah.
Well, I'm not very, specific with the controls, but from how I played it, I thought it was really easy to control, and I thought it was really cool that on one screen you could see something completely different that was what on the other screen that everyone else was looking at. I'm
completely jealous that you got to play.
Yeah, I was one of the lucky ones to actually play on the gamepad instead of, just the Wii remote, so...
That's so dope.
Yes, that's awesome.
You see her video, Wally?
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm on a wait list for it. I couldn't even make it in time for the first shipment, so that sucks so bad.
Damn. Yeah, I got in there the first minute that I knew it was announced, and I was like, "Can I pre-order the Wii U?"
Yeah, we were just talking about that today, actually, because we're gonna go, get it on the day.
Wait at midnight.
We have to line up and stuff. And I just found out that I have a concert that night. I'm singing that night, and so I was like, "Please don't hate me. Can I show up later?"
I was like, "The Wii U does not wait."
You mustn't like that.
I know, I was just kidding. Yeah, so I'm gonna be there early, before midnight, really, but at my local GameStop.
It's very worth it.
Definitely. Well, you heard it here from Tamari how epic it was as somebody who played it. Oh, damn it, Apple! He's chewing up the bottom of that stand.
Oh yeah.
Son of a monkey! Apple is here with us, as we discussed before we started recording. Yeah, he's just causing trouble. Okay, so anyway, what about Comic-Con, though? Did they... I guess, it's Comic-Con, so obviously there's comics, whatever, but then there's video games, but then there's a lot of anime stuff, right? Or is it just kind of anime?
Well, they actually made some changes this year, because in case you... I've been to Comic-Con last year and the year before, and it used to be two separate. There was New York Anime Festival and New York Comic-Con kind of sharing the Javits Center, which is in New York, the building it was taking place. And this year they decided to get rid of Anime Festival, just merge everything into Comic-Con, so they kind of mixed in anime with comics.
Did you like it better like that?
Well, this is very controversial. I personally didn't like it better because it was very hard, and it was kind of like the comic people kind of took it over. And
oh, man.
But I still had lots of fun. I met Veronica Taylor, who did Ash, so
Oh my god, that's epic!
Really?
Yeah, so I did get to see some anime stuff. It's just compared to 2011, where I saw a bunch of Funimation voice actors, it was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Man. Did Veronica Taylor do original Ash, or did she do the new?
Yeah, she did the original up until season 8 when that Pokémon America took over, and then they fired everyone.
And,
to put bluntly.
And we all cried because they fucked with my childhood.
It's true.
Yeah.
Apple, stop it! Okay. But yeah, so that's pretty damn epic. I know a lot of voice actors show up at Comic-Con in New York or San Diego maybe, but so I would love that.
Even non-comic people were there. Like Tom Felton from Harry Potter was like there. He was like that Drake from Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Like Draco. Random people.
I would go crazy if I meet Laura Bailey.
Really?
I'd love to meet her.
Me too.
Inform us who Laura Bailey is for all the listeners.
She does the voice for Mako from Soul Eater. She does the voice of Shin Shan. What else? It's a lot.
There you go.
She does Lust and Fullmetal Alchemist.
I guess I should have known that Shin-chan was voiced by a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to me that's pretty epic. I'm glad that we have a resident Comic-Con goer, if that's what you want to call it.
Sure.
So that's exciting to me. But one thing that I guess maybe before we dive into Pokemon and DBZ is just like Mrs.Kendo, Tamari, Wally. I guess like Mrs.Kendo has been looking up something here, so I didn't know if you wanted to like talk about like something from your class or if there was anything that you knew like what you were looking up basically.
Oh no, I was just looking up I was looking up the name of this one anime that we watched in my Sword, Silk, and Silicon class that I didn't actually take, I interned for, so that might be also why I remember less of it, because it wasn't actually like my job to learn the stuff in the class. I was just helping the kids in it. Oh man, there were these 3 girls who sat in the front and they were like, anime, yes! Like literally when they had to get split up into different groups for the final project at the end of the year, I'm so serious, one of them literally threw a fit and cried because she didn't get put in the anime group.
And these are college kids.
Oh, wonderful.
It didn't seem like it. But the one that I really thought was cool was Barefoot Gen, when it's about the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks, and it's just like very dramatic and emotional, but you see like all these little kids they're walking to school and it's all happy, and then all of a sudden darkness and evil comes out of the sky, and then there's like kids that have like red skin with like eyeballs falling out and stuff, and it's very sad. But it's actually like a full-length movie, and there's 2 of them, and it's based on a manga of the same name, so that's what it was first. But I just remember watching that in that class when we were learning about Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Japanese-U.S. relations and things like that, but
okay.
Did either of y'all ever hear of that? Like, have y'all heard of that?
I think I know what she's talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's really cool, but in a dark, sad way.
Yeah.
But of course, gotta love anime. Speaking of, you heard Mrs. Kendo say manga. I had a boss. It was like that job that I had for 2 years.
This is funny.
She already knows what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry.
He used to he would always like make fun of us if we weren't like geekier than him, like if we didn't know a lot of tech stuff or like geek stuff things, and like so he would always be making fun of us if we didn't know as much as him. And he one day was like talking just at lunch or whatever, and he's like, yeah, that's a really good meme instead of meme. He said meme. And then he also here's what I'm getting to with manga is that he was like, yeah, I've read a few Magna series and they were okay. He said Magna. I was like,
nice. Wow.
You always like blame us.
I was trying to get on y'all, yeah.
And here he is. He doesn't even know like how to pronounce. He can't even. For one, it's not even spelled Magna. It's not like Magna or something. It's manga. So yeah. So that was something I just remembered when Mrs. Kendo was talking here. But remember when we were playing the Dog Days Friend Room? That was me, Tamari, and Wally Win with some other people. We were playing Dog Days recently in the summer. Actually, that doesn't seem so recent anymore. Actually, dang. Time has.
That was like in July.
Time has gone by. I'm hoping to host another friend room for all the Mario Kart people in November. Yeah. With pun-filled galore.
It should be very punny.
We'll be quite punctual, but anyway.
Punctual.
I stole that from Tamari. She gets all the credit for that.
This is true.
I think Apple's messing up Mrs. Kendo's headphone cords. Like, can you hear anything?
Not out of this ear.
Okay. This affects it. Like this thing down here. Is it changing?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I was gonna say during the Dog Days Friend Room though, we talked about like we were kind of poking fun at like Pokemon and DBZ, and so anime is not without its like shortcomings, I guess, in the well, what do I call it? Like it's kind of common sense gets breached a lot in anime. I mean, cartoons in general, but like anime especially. And so, like one of the things was Mrs.Kendo and I were talking about Pokemon a while back, and I kind of wanted all of us to have our fun with Pokemon because, God, what can you not say about it? But like one thing that I thought was really funny was like they have those really weird moments that like maybe little kids they don't quite understand. But like one thing that I saw was, do y'all remember the episode with the Kangaskhan kid? He was like the little caveman-like kid.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, his mother and father came to like look for him. You remember? And they were like, "It's like that guy with that weird voice." He's like, "Hello,
Yeah.
Tommy." And his name was Papa, and then I guess the other one was Mama, and creative. And one scene that I remember, which I do not know what the hell they were thinking, but like the mother is like, she
She's like
finally
super young, right? Wasn't she
well,
super young?
that, but also she like finally gets recognized by Tommy after he gets hit in the head or whatever, and he's like, "Mama," and then she's like, "Oh yes, you remember me," and then he's like, "Here, Tommy, remember your Papa?" And he has his shirt open. Like, do you remember that? Like, he's like flashing everybody. Yeah, like, does everybody remember this? Or-
No, I can't remember that part. I remember, when he got his memory back, but no, I cannot remember that. I need to look
If you
at
go
that
back and
episode.
watch that scene, he's like, "Here, Tommy, remember your Papa," and like he's like flashing everybody, and then like Misty hits him in the head, and she's like, "One memory at a time, Papa."
What?
Which
A lot of these cartoons have those little inside jokes. You know what I mean?
do you have an example of one that would be good?
Like,
I know
mean,
there's thousands of them.
there's thousands, but like SpongeBob, they have.
Oh my
so
gosh.
many-
Here we go.
Sorry. What were you saying about SpongeBob?
like they have a lot of those inside jokes, like that kids probably don't get, but we can get. You know what I mean?
Yes, I have a specific one that was edited off of the show that I don't know how many people know about, so I want to talk about it even though it's not anime.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember the episode where Squidward falls in love with Krabby Patties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happens is there's a montage about Squidward's life with Krabby Patties, and I'm not kidding, that he gets married to the Krabby Patty. And if you see the episode come on TV now, he gets married, and there's a jump cut, and then he has kids with the Krabby Patty. When I originally saw that episode, I was like 10 or whatever, and I'm not kidding you, Squidward is lying naked on top of a giant Krabby Patty. They deleted the Krabby Patty sex scene because of
Krabby Patty
Nickelodeon.
sex scene.
And I've looked it up on the internet to try to find the mysterious Krabby Patty sex scene, and like I can't find anything about it, but it was real. I swear it was real, and I was scarred. I was like, ew, Krabby Patty sex, and I was 10.
I hope you're not finding SpongeBob porn pants or something when you're looking for this.
I didn't Google Krabby Patty sex scene in those words. It was more like deleted part of episode where Squidward is naked on Krabby Patty.
Oddly specific. Nice. But yes, so SpongeBob is hooray! Like his voice and stuff, and gosh, SpongeBob was great. But anyway, back to Pokemon. What about you guys? Like, I could go on, but I want to hear from y'all. Like, it had a lot of those odd moments. It's just like, what the hell are they doing? So, do y'all have any of those kind of WTF moments with Pokemon?
I kind of did.
All right. Do you have any examples that you want to spout off?
I don't remember exactly what happened in this episode, but you know how Brock's like this amazing cook and everything? There was one episode where in Japanese, like those rice balls, he was serving them, and in the English dub, they called them donuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
It was with the Mankey where, like, they're like, "Donut, go!" And they threw the donut at it. And then Brock was like, "Oh, my donut!" You just like, what'd you expect was gonna happen?
Mine was probably I never watched that episode. It was when I think it was the one with Pikachu. It's the one that a lot of the kids in Japan was catching the seizures and stuff because of the background. You know what I mean? Yeah, the band one. And I would never watch that episode. I never had a seizure before, but I was like, I am not gonna take that chance. You know what I mean? Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, it was the Porygon episode because there was an explosion.
Porygon, that's it.
And in the explosion, it gave off like a big flash of red to blue to white back to red like twice. So a bunch of kids in Japan like had a seizure.
Too many colors.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I have not seen that one. But I did. Another thing I was talking to Mrs.Kendo about was kind of one of those WTF moments. And I mean, I don't know if this is offensive or not, but like Gary was facing the last gym leader, which was Giovanni, you know, with his Mewtwo and all that armor and stuff. Remember that?
Yeah.
And like Gary got his ass whipped, and like there was a giant explosion and everything like that. And for one, Gary's always like, "Watch how a Pokemon master does it," you know, like he's always like,
"You sound just like one."
He's always like, "I'm the best one, and Ash doesn't know what he's doing," and you know, all the women are like, "Gary, he's the best," and I'm like,
"Yeah."
These women have nothing better to do in their lives but just like follow him around in a car. Gary. And anyway, that's not what I was going to talk about. There was a giant explosion in the building, and Brock, of course, is obsessed with all the women. So he's like, before that explosion, he's all like, "Can I get any of you girls' phone numbers?" You know, blah, blah, and like all that stuff. And his pickup line, by the way, is, "My name's Brock." That's the pickup line. Every time. That's how he starts it off. Every time, you know, "My name's Brock. And how you doing?" Something. But what I was going to say was, here's the WTF moment. The building explodes, and then Brock's like, "The girls," and then Ash goes, "Gary," and Ash goes over to Gary. Like Brock is like looking at all the women, you know, and like Ash like cradles Gary in his arms, you know, like, "Gary," and like I'm like, Ash.
We
what
had
the
an
hell?
interesting discussion about Brock and his obsession with women the other day. We were talking about how Brock is the most Japanese looking out of all of the characters. And in my Sword Silk and Silicon class, you know, we talked about why all the anime characters have like huge eyes and don't look very Japanese is because the Japanese didn't want them to look Japanese for whatever reason. And but Brock, like, he's always like trying to hit on the women, but the women don't really like him back. So I was wondering if that was some kind of like of the like Japanese wanting to look. Yes, exactly. Self-discrimination, I guess, is the best way to put it. Wanting to Americanize their characters, and then having Brock be just like sad and alone.
Well, I think it's a bullshit because he's a minority, and so it's like, what the hell? He's always like the comedic relief, getting slapped around and like all the ladies, you know, whatever. But he was also, to his credit, somebody once who I was dating, even if you can believe this. Why would I date somebody who says this? But she actually said that Brock. She actually said that he was the worst, the most useless character in the show. And I was like, how the hell could you say that? Like, Brock not only cooks and provides advice and everything like that, but he's a fucking gym leader. It's like, what the hell? Like,
also, not only that, but if it wasn't for Brock, Charmander, like, would have not come into the picture. And that's what, like, this girl, I was like obsessed with Steven when this girl was dating him, and I hated their relationship, and I did everything I could to stop it, but not really. In my mind, I did. And so when I would stalk them on Facebook and see when they would talk about stuff like this, and every time she would make a comment about Sonic, Pokemon, anything, I would always like do my best to like one up her comment. So when she said that Brock was useless, I went and was like, for the record, Charmander is Steven's favorite Pokemon, and if it wasn't for Brock, there would not be a Charmander, and it was all because he saved him. And yes.
And that guy Damien was an asshole. He's just like, training Pokemon is the most boring part. And then they're like, how dare you call yourself a Pokemon trainer and stuff.
Remember when we were talking about how like Ash is really kind of a bad Pokemon trainer?
Kind of.
Like, in the beginning, he was, oh my goodness, yes, he was horrible.
He let so many of them go, and then, you know, like, his Charizard doesn't even listen to him, and Pikachu, like, does everything, and, like, Pikachu never evolves, but yet Pikachu is just, like, the strongest thing that can, like, beat Onix, like...
Like, I see Onix, and I'm like, holy shit, how does anything beat this?
Yes.
You know, Onix is like...
And then Magmar, that one episode we were watching the other day where they go inside the volcano.
I was going to say, just in the vein of Ash, I mean, gosh, we could talk forever about Ash sucking, but remember in the episode where he caught the Krabby, right? It was like out by the lighthouse and stuff? Yeah, getting some yeses. Okay. Well, before that, you know, he's all like, I'm good, I caught 6 Pokemon or something like that, and they're like, don't forget, Ash, most of those Pokemon followed you. And it's like, and also, Ash, you had our help. And they're all like agreeing and stuff. And he's like, you guys are always putting me down. Well, I'll show you. And then he like goes off to the beach and he catches a Krabby by pointing a stick at it. And it cuts through the stick, and then he throws a Pokeball, and then it disappears. And the reason is because obviously he has 6 Pokemon, so it disappears and it goes to the PC. And so he's like, "Where'd my Krabby go?" You know, and Brock's like, "Didn't you know? It's with the person that gave you your Pokédex." And then he's like, "I'm not," or like Misty's like, "Quit complaining, Ash, or quit whining." And he's like, "I'm not whining. I just wanted to know where my Krabby was." And like, it's so funny because like if he wanted to be a Pokemon master, wouldn't he know these things?
So he is 10.
Yeah, and also the reason they do this, I'm sure, is because they want others who don't know about it to have the explanation. And so they're using Ash as kind of like this tool of like, here's how we can explain the rules of Pokemon, you know, with this noob. Like,
Armageddon's coming. Be on your guard, guard yourself and break it. Try to make it real far, far away from the hell. Find paradise in Armageddon. Armageddon's coming. Now a new world begins.